Alright guys, I'm home, as you can see by this crappy video quality. I really didn't feel like grabbing my laptop at the moment, so sorry. But I'm home and not looking forward to going back to college tomorrow, but that is life. Here is a battle against a real-life friend of mine, as he's known on YouTube, xXMrSaggyXx, I think. Yeah. So, here's the battle. Hope you enjoy. Sorry, there's only two X's. xXMrSaggyXx. Whatever. Here's the battle. Alright guys, so here's the NU match with xXMrSaggyXx. I battled him once before. He's a real life friend of mine. So here we go. He leads with Persian. I lead with my epic cute Dustbuster. I know he's gonna fake out here, but I kinda wanna stay in so I can trick a choice scarf onto him to really to really limit the usefulness of his Persian later. So I get the scarf on him. I get Silk Scarf, which isn't too bad for Dustbuster, and he just switches out with U-turn. So he goes out into Hitmonchan, and I was predicting a fighting type move, obviously, but he goes sub instead, which really caught me off guard. So I'm into my pincer. I don't think he can kill me unless he has the fire punch, which would be random. Most Hitmonchans don't carry it, so I decide to stay in an earthquake to break the sub, and he goes ice punch and gets a freeze, which really sucks. But then I get the first turn thaw, so he kind of deserved that after the freeze, so I don't really feel bad. And yeah, that puts his Hitmonchan at red health. He tries to sub again, but can't. And he's just going to Mach Punch and leave Hitmonchan in as death fodder. So Hitmonchan goes down. So he's going to go out now into Space Cat, his Espeon, and I'm thinking that it's Scarfed now because he's sending out against a pretty obviously Scarfed Pincer. So he goes Hidden Power Fire, and obviously Politoed doesn't take much from that. And I'm just going to go for the Hypnosis on the switch. I end up getting the Electrode, which puts it to sleep, which is good for me. And I'm just going to switch now, and I go out into Pincer again to hopefully get a free Earthquake off on something. He's still asleep. He doesn't want to get Earthquake, so he switches, and he goes out into Shuckle, which is a pretty damn good damage absorber. And like I said, yeah, Earthquake does diddly squat to it. So I go out into Cradily now. He's just going to set up Stealth Rock, which is actually really bad for me because I don't have a Rapid Spinner, and a lot of my Pokemon are weak to Stealth Rock, so that's not good for me. He goes out into a Jinx against when I Toxic, and he actually has a Lum Barrier on his Jinx, so that cures him of the poison, and that sucks. So they go into Politoed, since Politoed is a special wall. However, he goes Lovely Kiss, which puts me to sleep. And that sucks because Lovely Kiss usually means substitute, so I go out on a Typhlosion, and he does end up substituting, which sucks. So I decided to go for the Earthquake, basically because Jinx's defense isn't too good, and I don't want to wither down my own special attack with Overheat. So I go for the Earthquake. He ends up going out into Espeon, which does about half to it. But I decided to switch out into Cradily. Still think this thing is Scarf because he's sending it against obviously Scarfed Pokemon. But he goes Psychic, and it does a lot more than I thought to Cradily. So now I'm thinking, oh, this Espeon is Specs. So he's tricking me out this whole time with this Espeon. And it's actually a Specs Espeon, which is kind of good because now I know that I can deal with it. So I let Dustbuster die as death fodder, unfortunately, and I just go out into my Choice Scarf Pincer, and I'm just going to go for the X-Scissor, which kills it because he's Specs and not Scarf. So that was good for me, and Espeon goes down. Unfortunately, though, Pincer cannot survive another Stealth Rock hit, so I have to stay in against this Persian, and the Persian's just going to fake out me for the kill. But I know he's locked in a fake out, so I know I have a free chance to heal with Cradily. So I go out into Cradily and recover on a switch, and he goes out into Shuckle. And I'm just going to try to Toxic it. I know that he might have Rest, but I was hoping to wither it down and maybe surprise him with a move that can kill it, because I really don't have a whole lot of answers for this Shuckle. But he encores me, and I set up the Toxic on him, so that's not so bad. So now I'm going to go out into Meganium, because my Meganium has Aromatherapy, Leech Seed, and I just wanted to do stuff like that to it. But he goes to the Rest right now, and that's kind of surprising, but now I know I can set up the Light Screen on his on his switch, so I set the light screen against the Jinx, which is actually a really good thing for me because now his ice beams won't be doing too much. So I go out into Typhlosion again, predicting an ice beam, but he ends up just Calm Minding, so that doesn't really mean much because I can still KO him with Overheat, so I decide just to do that. But he now sends out Persian as Death Fodder, and obviously Persian's going to die to an Overheat at max special attack from Typhlosion. So, yeah, the Persian goes down, and he goes out into Pokeball his Electrode, and I just decide to stay in for a turn and go Overheat, hoping that he'd stay asleep, and he's actually faster. I was actually kind of surprised he was faster, because this is Scarf Typhlosion, but I guess, yeah, Electrode is just crazy fast, so that ends the breaks. So I go on to Cradily, and he's still asleep, so I'm just going to go for the Rock Slide, figuring it'll hit Shuckle, Jinx, or Electrode pretty hard, but he wakes up and explodes, which I kind of wasn't expecting, but it does put Cradily into range that it can probably, it can easily die to an Ice Beam. It's probably in that range already, so I don't know. But he goes out into Jinx, and I don't want to give him a free setup because I was kind of predicting a sub, so I decided to stay in and Rock Slide, but he ends up Ice Beaming me, which will cost me my Cradily, so that sucks. So I go on to Typhlosion, and I'm down to 2 more switch-ins with Typhlosion, and I'm just going to go for the Overheat. And he stays in, which was great for me, so I take down that Jinx, and that means his last Pokemon is Shuckle. And, like I said, I have a Meganium with both Aromatherapy and Leech Seed, so I'll be able to put the Leech Seed on it, and he's not going to be able to take it off by switching, or resting for that matter. And if he tries to Toxic any of my Pokemon, I can just, Aromatherapy it away. So that's pretty much good game. I do have a Politoed, which has a super effective move, so I decided just to go out into that. He can't really Toxic a sleeping Politoed anyway, so I go out into Politoed, and yeah, it's asleep, so he can't Toxic me. And I don't really care if he locks me into Surf, because that's what I'm going to be doing anyway. So I'm just going to be waiting to wake up here. He's just going to keep getting drained by the Leech Seed, and as soon as I get a Surf off, it should be at 2-hit KO after the Leech Seed damage as well. He's going to keep trying to Toxic me, but it's not going to work when I'm asleep, so I finally wake up, I think, this turn, and I'm going to get the Surf off, which is super effective on Shuckle, and will be a 2-hit KO at this point, so he actually misses Toxic, but like I said, it doesn't even matter because it's a 2-hit KO. So, good game, xXMrSaggyXx. It was a fun match, fun NU match, so I hope we can do it again. So, rate, comment, subscribe, guys, and I'll see you guys again next time. Alright. See ya. Bye. So, I was vacationing in Florida for the past month, as some of you know, some of you don't know. But leave a comment about your dream vacation. I really love Florida, but I've always wanted to visit Europe, so I guess Europe would be my dream vacation. So leave a comment about your dream vacation, and I'll see you guys again next time. Bye.